Hi, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. I have done a do-over. So this was a journal that I had in my collection, and it was and still is called Strong and Steady. It's a antique book from 1906, and I loved the image on it. But it's a little boy, and I'll show you it in a second. And I guess that little boys aren't as popular as images of Victorian and little girls and women. So what I did is I wanted to keep the book intact, but still add some femininity to it. Is that a word? Femininity? Added this little jangle, and I put lots of little vintage beads on there and some ribbons that match this beautiful flower postcard. Now look at this postcard. I've attached it on a hinge, a hidden hinge, and it stays closed just by being tucked into the lace there. But this postcard is from 1909, and it was sent from the West Park Station in Philadelphia, and it's to someone in Pittsburgh in memory of the 40th, eh? So it's a birthday postcard, which I thought was very cute. And just tuck the top into underneath this lace here so it stays shut, but you can still see the image of the little boy underneath. So I love it. Let's take a look inside. Here's the original inscription. This gift was a Christmas present in 1907. And I just put some very pretty lace in here and a 1950s receipt. Vintage bird book image here, woodpecker. And here's a little teeny tiny vintage flower page from a British wildflower book. Pulled or stamped that actually with some antique paper. And a little plate here. Look at this, and that is from my Harry Potter collection from the 30s. I know I shouldn't have pulled that book apart, but it was too late when I realized it. This is a beautiful 1930 page from the University of Knowledge up here, and that is a Venetian Renaissance page, and another beautiful one here by Gregorian. And then here is a Mother Goose page from the 30s, a little children's book image. Poor old Robinson Crusoe. Isn't that wonderful? Here's the Venetian Renaissance over here, and some antique music paper. There's a pleated woodpecker there. We have those here. And I put in a few non-antique pages, just about 4 in the whole book, which is 80 plus pages. And that's just to give you a little more journaling space. Everything else in here is authentic, antique, and vintage ephemera. I don't use anything commercial, digital, printed, nothing. It's all real. That's just my style. I love it that way. There's some vintage game score cards, and this is a whole book on how to collect stamps, and this is vintage, as you can see here. It's the world's most fascinating hobby, it says. I love it, and that is from 1951. And speaking of the 50s, there's a 1950s bingo card. Isn't that fun? I really like that one. And here is an antique postcard. Look at that beautiful, look at horse and buggies, not a car in the picture, which tells us it is early 1900s, and it is 1911. And it's fun to read the messages. That's just how we text, they sent postcards. And that is just a 1920s blank ledger page. More children's book pages. Look at this one, a little child over the last 100 years has colored that, and I think it's wonderful. I love them colored. Just tells me that the book was loved. To have a coloring book was a big deal. To have crayons was an even bigger deal. So we have just a blank antique page there. They turned into a journaling envelope. Pretty little pocket here. I love this image of this little girl making a wish on the moon. Bedtime stories here. A fairy song. And here is a how to tat page. The lost art of tatting. So that's pretty cool. Vintage. Another vintage sewing page here. Antique book page. Vintage dictionary page. And back here is a treasure. Look at this one from 1890. To Demarest's Family Magazine. Look at these women adorning their millinery couture hats. I just absolutely love it so much. That's a really special one. There we go. And a vintage how to set the table page. I still don't know which side the fork goes on. God love me. And there is just some vintage upholstery fabric. I just put a little hidden journaling spot behind there. And more. Oh, I love this. Dog stories, collected dog stories from the 1905. A botanical page from a vintage gardening book, and a vintage playing card put into a pocket made from a doily runner. Another wonderful early 1900s page here, and this is from also I think it's 1926 as well. That's the other page, the part of that ledger. And I just love the old pen and quill. Fabulous writing. And in here I put another postcard I pulled out of a photo album. So people would have a picture taken, and then the photographer would turn it into a postcard so you could send them to your family and friends overseas, which they always had. And this is just a wonderful page out of a 1950s magazine. Look at these wonderful things that you can make. Crafts, needlepoint, crochet. It's just fabulous. Great images to play with if you're a multimedia artist especially. Put some lace here, antique paper and interior spine here. This is a pocket made out of a 1950 stamp collector page. And I just made a little magnet pocket here, and I put some very brittle scrapbook, antique scrapbook paper in there, 1920s. You can stuff it with even more things if you like. Just put some lace on there. And in the back here is a 1938 Paris, France Almanac page, double-sided. Lots of really cool images on there as well that you can have fun with. And the last page of the book, Strong and Steady. I think the Strong and Steady is just a wonderful theme for a woman's journal. 1930s Monopoly money and a chance card there. Sorry, I'll slip that in a minute. But please visit my shop, hyperstamper.etsy.com, and I hope you have fun with this journal and it helps you to feel steady and strong. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye for now.